know, there's a lot of stars in country music, but there's a few voices that feel like they're speaking to you. And today I'm here at the Spring Hill Cemetery in Madison, Tennessee, to visit the gravesite of one of those timeless voices in all of music. One of the most memorable voices in all of country music, Keith Whitley.
So I've been traveling all over the country ever since then, since I was about 15 years old. And you always knew in the back of your mind, you know, how you wanted to do it and what you wanted to do. And it looked like at times that there was no way I was ever going to get to do it that way. You know, I was always going to be working for somebody else and playing somebody else's music. And I was never going to get to play my music, you know, what I felt in my heart. And there were several times I never actually came close to quitting, but I thought about it a lot of times, you know. And that's what I say, when you've been in as many valleys as I have, boy, it sure makes the mountains feel good, you know. When you get to one of those peaks, it really does feel good, because it's been a lot of hard work.
All right, here is the gravesite of Mr. Keith Whitley himself. Somebody left a Christmas wreath here. Got this angel leaning over. Good old Keith Whitley. One of my all-time favorite country artists. How could it not be? There's so many artists throughout the years that have attributed so much of their influence and songwriting to Keith Whitley. And I think that shows the generational impact that he still has to this very day, to the very modern country stars of today. So in the late 1980s, Keith Whitley released a string of songs that weren't just hits, but they rewired country music. Don't Close Your Eyes.
Don't close your eyes, let it be me.
I'm No Stranger to the Rain.
I'm no stranger to the rain.
And When You Say Nothing at All.
When you say nothing at all.
And these weren't just loud songs. They weren't loud at all. They were honest songs. You know, Keith Whitley's voice wasn't about power. It was about vulnerability. And when he held a note, it was like he was holding on to something fragile. And that wasn't because he was flashy or anything. It was because he was real. So Keith Whitley was born on July 1st, 1954 in Ashland, Kentucky, where I'm from. And long before Nashville came along, long before all of his radio hits, he was deeply rooted and steeped in Appalachian music, mountain soul, bluegrass.
I always pretend that I'm getting the feel of the hickory
9th, 1989, Keith Whitley was found dead at his home. And the cause of his death was alcohol poisoning. And he was just 34 years old. Just 34 years old. There's a song of Keith Whitley's that I like. And I think it's a cover song. I can't think of the original guy that wrote the song. Lefty Frizzell, I think. And the song is called I Never Go Around Mirrors.
I never go around mirrors. 'Cause I got a heart too high.
And there's another song of his, which again I don't know if he wrote this song, but it's called Lonely at the Top. So it goes,
It might be lonely at the top, but it's a bitch at the bottom.
just a very relatable artist. One of those artists, timeless, like I said, timeless voice, had so much more to give, so much more to offer country music. And you think of where he might have gone with, he was already topping the charts. It's almost like every single song that he put out, it shot to number one. Wasn't even a year old when he passed away. But I found his music when I was a teenager. I started listening to Keith Whitley when I was a teenager. Just a very overcast, gray, rainy day here in this cemetery. John 3:16. Keith Whitley reminded us, that great music doesn't come from perfection. It comes from honesty. And every time you hear Keith Whitley's music, you're hearing a man who felt deeply, and maybe too deeply. But if you're someone that feels like you don't quite fit into this world, you ever felt like your emotions were too much, and Keith Whitley's music tells you that you're not alone. So if Keith Whitley's music resonates with you, has resonated with you, speaks to you, let me know in the comments. Let me know, what one of your favorite songs of Keith Whitley's is. I just wanted to come out here, and before I left Nashville, I wanted to visit the grave of an inspiration, a musical inspiration, perhaps not one of the greatest voices in country music, the greatest voice arguably in country music, in music history. Like I said, his voice it hits you hard. It hits you right in the center of your chest. So I thank you for watching. Statue right here. All right, guys. Like, comment what Keith Whitley meant to you. And see you next time. See you in the next video.
When you work as many honky tonks and everything as I do, you wind up with what we call a motel tan. So I go to the tan a bit every now and then because it makes me feel better, you know.